Okay, people. Good day and nice evening tonight. I just introduced you to the some small tips of the my tipping effect, how it works, and I just what am I going to do is I just preparing some silver pencil, which is like this. This is ordinary, typical silver pencil, and I am going to do is I just put some silver shiny tipping effect on this test piece. Okay, and there are some other useful pencils, which is like AK Interactive introduce us to I think a lot of people have already know, so I don't have to introduce so well. And before you are doing this, you have to make sure that the surface of the model are enough to draw the pencil tipping effect. It's just because, as you can see, the surface of the plastic model is a little bit glossy, right? You can see very shiny surface on the painted surface. So first you might have to do is you need to cover it with some semi-glossy or flat coat, which is like this, to get ready to the drawing the pencil well. Okay, so I just get started with the front coat first. Just blue, very thin. It's fine to make that surface is very flat, to easy control to draw the pencil, right? Something like that. Just a little thumb. It's fine, and you need to get dry very well. Okay, now after I think the few minutes later, I think the okay, 5 minutes or 10 minutes is fine. You need to dry completely well. So now the surface itself is pretty flat, which means very easy to draw the line of the silver pencil. So now I can get started with the silver pencil first. Okay, before you doing this, the pencil itself must be very sharp and very pointy, right? So which makes your effect feel more accurate and very more realistic. So I need to keep the pencil very sharp, right? Okay. And now, okay, me just take that off. What am I going to do is very simple. Which part should I start the tipping, right? In my case, I don't put so much tipping works not directly here. I mean, if you focus on the plastic model, maybe you may see some panel line, right? So in this case, I can see some cross line here and here, right? So what am I going to do the first is I just focus on the cross corner of the panel line first. Start to draw from the beside the line, panel line first, something like this. Not here. I mean, in many cases, on the edge of panel line, you can see very easy to tear the color paint itself off on the corner, right? Corner of the panel line. So I always get started with some kind of the sharpened area, which is like here on the panel line. Always panel line first. The corner of the panel line is very obvious to see. So, and then I just keep the pencil very sharp. It's very hard to see. And then try to tip more widely from the center of the panel line to the outside. And sometimes you just put the pencil on, or maybe sometimes you just put the pencil like scratch. Sometimes you just put the like this, or maybe you can like this kind of action. You can always not doing all the same way. Sometimes you just put, sometimes you just how do I say, I don't know, but something like this. Not always the same figure you're trying to, and try to make the tipping works more wide and obvious, and then the tip effect is spread out to the many way, something like you know. So the in this case, the amount of the tipping effect should be beside the panel line, not like ordinary place. So it makes the effect itself is more realistic and more logic, right? And you know, it's not always something like that, but if you are really, you know, want to make some nice effect, you are always following with the panel line. If you are really confused, you know where to, which place you put the tipping effect. If you're confused about that, maybe the panel line itself is guide you where to put Okay, and here is also the same. Maybe some part the tipping is very obvious and wide and very hard, so I just put too many stumps of the pencil, and then I just making the scratch. And if you already feel something missing, the tipping works more extended to the others, and this is simply very easy, because if you missed, or if you do too much, if you do very wrong press to the wrong techniques, maybe turpentine oil wiped off the silver paint very easy. So you don't have to be so worried so much. This is very easy to retouch and try, and I think everybody can do this. If you already care about which place and what kind of tipping figure exists. So maybe some case you need to see the real images, or real actual sightseeing, how the tipping appears to you. And it's not so difficult techniques, but to looks more realistic is some kind of you might need some experience a little bit, but okay. I just missed over painted right here. In that case, I just preparing with some turpentine thinner. This is pretty dirty one, but it's just okay. And cotton swab. And then just wiped off. I mean, not wiped off all of it, just the trim is fine. You need to you can control aftermath anyway. If you do too much, maybe you just take that off. Very easy. Real tipping techniques, tipping cannot do this, because it's actually the paint itself off. So you cannot try that again. It's just only one chance you can do this. But in this case, you can try many times. So it makes you more feel like more free to go, not too afraid. And then, or maybe you can also very effective if you are doing with some edges from like here. This is actual edges, so from the edge you might see some very obvious tipping result in the real images. So try to focus the corner of the edge, and then the tipping small tipping result more spread out to the other side. So basically here is most dense of the tipping, and then little amount of very thin and tiny small tips is spread out, something like this, right? And this makes your tipping works more like realistic, I think. Not start from here or here. Maybe you can just start with some kind of edges or some kind of the following the panel line. Start with here and like here or right here. And if you do too much or if you do a wrong, maybe you just wiped off. And this is pretty easy, right? And in additional things, this is the test sample, so in this case you can use some other kind of color which is like brown is, I think, very effective. Okay, it's really up to the base coat, base paint. So in this case, I think it's not much of color, but some very safety, I mean not the safety, but very sensitive scratch. Not to, you know, not to the metal surface. Is the paint surface a little bit dirt or some kind of scratches, not very serious type. You can always use the of course you can use the some kind of different color, not only the silver chipping paint pencil. And in this case, the point is you need to prepare some other kind of color suitable for the base coat, base paint, right? So you cannot use the same color. This color, this surface, you can use the a little bit dark brown, and in this case, in here, you need to use some kind of a little bit bright brown, right? So you need to choose to correct color, right? That's the point. And back to the tipping effect. So I just try that again from here. Maybe so you might have some kind of patient. Yeah, you need to do a lot of stamping, you know, behavior, right? Movement. So I think you might need much more time if I compare with some other weathering techniques. You need to, you know, you need to put some figures of the tipping expression. So, and it's not always easy. Sometimes even I just, you know, try and erase and try and erase and so much times, but this is a test piece, so I really don't care about it, but so just stamping is very easy, and just scratching some kind of, you need to draw some very tiny line is a little bit difficult. but you know, always practicing, you know, if you are really familiar with that, maybe you don't feel any uncomfortable things. So just in some case the pencil should be cleaned up on the surface, so the, you know, to make the plastic surface is more clean, right? And actually you cannot touch directly on the surface of the model within before you coat it with the clear coat. Maybe it's easy to wipe that off. So once you put, and you know, you need to avoid to touch, and if you really want to touch them, you need to cover with some clear coat as well. So successfully tipping effect is always some kind of logical thinking, which is like, you know, which kind of part should be teared off the paint color, right? So I think the edge of the, you know, part should be more easy to take the paint off, so you can easy to imagine, right? So in some case the tipping can appear in a very normal surface, but I think most of the tipping has begun from the edges, or the connection between the panel line and panel, right? So the panel line itself should be more like more damaging, right? So something like this. Okay. This is pretty really rough and very not actual modeling behavior, so it makes very not good enough. But maybe I hope your techniques improved, right? Okay, time has gone, so see you next time. Bye.